Hi, welcome to Born Superhuman. I'm very excited and interested today to have Christina Schmidt with us from Vision Body.
So we started with the idea 12 years ago, and the first baby, Vision Body, was born 10 years ago. This makes us really unique and special, and this kind of medical electricity is the real secret to give people a long-term solution, not only on fitness level, but also on health level. In the home edition, for example, you have your own suit with these built-in electrodes. You have this small control box, what you put on the side of the suit, and then you have your own app, and then you choose the right programs. We can help not only fit people, but as I mentioned, of course, on rehab level in really a lot of different cases.
I'm Dan Metcalf. Thank you for tuning into the Born Superhuman podcast. I'm so proud of the guests and stories that we bring to you, and I know that you'll enjoy what we have ahead. Please like, subscribe, and follow. It really makes a huge difference in our ability to continue these conversations being brought to you. And if you feel the passion behind Born Superhuman, please share it with your friends and family and leave a comment. I read every one. Now, let's get on with the show. Hi, welcome to Born Superhuman. I'm very excited and interested today to have Christina Schmidt with us from Vision Body. Now, what we're going to be talking about is EMS. Now, EMS training is specific muscular development and frequencies in the body, but I really don't know too much about it, so I don't know why I'm saying it. Christina, how are you doing?
I'm good. Hope you too. Thank you for having me here. And I'm really grateful to talk about a little bit more detailed about this amazing technology because it's really a game changer and a life changer, as we say.
That's awesome. And you are originally from Germany. No, no, no,
I
no.
was born,
You are from Hungary. How dare I say that?
I'm from Gulyás country. Yeah, I was born in Budapest and my husband is German.
Fantastic. So before we start, you shared with me when we were talking before some amazing news about Henry, your husband. Why don't you just tell us what that news was?
Oh, yeah. So we moved over like 3 years ago, and just to make Vision Body big here in this country and make America fit again, and not only healthy, but suddenly it was a shocking news that my husband got cancer. And yeah, it was really not expected. It was a big shock. And it was a long journey to get rid of the head and neck and then lung cancer, and then it popped up on the bones. But he was keep fighting, trying to find every kind of holistic biohacking solution. Not only the classical Western chemo and radiation therapy. So he did water fasting and everything, red light therapy, everything which is helping to get rid of this nightmare. And now, yeah, since a week he's tumor free. And yeah, we believe that also our own product helped him to maintain a kind of quality life and muscles and his immune system on a level that he could fight against this.
But
Nobody wants kind of craziness.
that's fantastic. Huge congratulations to you and Henry because you're both co-founders of Vision Body, which is an EMS training suit. Go ahead and explain what is EMS itself.
Yeah, so EMS stands for electromuscle stimulation. And I know it seems like, oh, something new and trendy, fancy, but it's not because this is pure biology. This is how our body functioning, that we give electrical signals from the brain, and this is how we move. This is how we speak, eat, exist. So it's all about frequencies and the communication between brain and body parts. Um, Funny story that it started like on a way that we use external help. If there is any communication issue between brain and body, with the help of electricity. It was a very, very interesting, kind of barbaric type of treatment. But 2000 years ago, a doctor by Caesar Claudius figured out that electrical ray fishes can stimulate paralyzed body part through the skin and activate the muscles again, even if there is something broken between brain and that certain body part. So he was using electrical ray fishes. As I said, it was quite barbaric because he put the patient in a pool with the with these fishes, and through the electricity, the electroshock, the paralyzed body part was activated. So this is how the story started. He was even treating Claudius against headache with an electrical ray fish, and there is a theory, the gate theory. They say it was like invented by Meltzer in the 60s, but it's not true because somehow this doctor already figured out that you can block the pain on spinal cord level if you use electroshock. So this was the very beginning, but for me it was very convincing to hear the history of EMS, that it's something really always in rehab. So it came from rehab. It's not a fitness um, product. It's originally a medical. I mean, they started to develop medical devices based on different frequencies. So especially in Russia and Germany, it became very popular in the 60s, 70s. So Olympic players, athletes, astronauts were using this technology because with electromuscle stimulation, you can maintain not only the muscles, but also bone density. So, for example, by astronauts, it's crucial because up there in the space, they're not able to train. They can't lift weights. So this is the only way to maintain, as I mentioned, not only the muscle, but also bone density. Also by pro athletes in the 70s, Russian got the most medals on the Olympic game. Why? Because they were already using this technology originally for rehab to recover faster after an injury. But meanwhile, they figured out that in that area, let's say if somebody had a knee injury, they started to focus on that area. It didn't have only with circulation and build back the muscles in that area, but it made the whole leg stronger and more toned. So they were like, okay, if you use it for rehab, it seems that it has a lot of positive side effects. So they started to use it for sport performance. And there are already studies that you can increase strength and endurance like 25, 30%. It's huge. So in that time, the drug committee tried to figure out what are they doing, what is happening, why they have the most medals, what are they taking? And finally, they admitted that no, we don't have any drugs, just simply use EMS. And they even wanted to put it on the drug list that it's you're not allowed to use it if you attend the Olympics. But they said that this is how the body works, and we just use it for rehab, and this is just a kind of side effect. So it's a powerful thing. This is how really the sport journey of EMS started in the 60s, 70s. And of course, Germany is the kind of home country of this kind of technology, especially the whole body version. So most of the products available on the market are from Europe and especially from Germany.
Yeah, it's fascinating because Having been a head coach on the Olympic program and trained so many athletes, I used to believe that there's such a thing as muscle memory. But when I started studying with my, balance training systems, that it's actually an electrical stimulation that has to be present, an electrical pulse that has to be present for a muscle to work. It made total sense. But let me take you here. I remember watching these commercials on TV back in the 90s, 2000s, where you get this pad, you'd put it on your stomach, you'd let it pulse for, 5 minutes, and you'd have this most incredible six pack that in all reality we knew was a model that was at the gym working out like crazy and, was naturally that way. How did you take the philosophy? And I'm a huge believer in Russian genius as well with discovery. So much has come out of Russian scientists. How did you take that or discover it, or how did you find the need to create an EMS suit?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we were not the first one who came out with a whole body suit, but definitely what we saw on the market that every developer has a huge machine, a complicated jacket, what you have to make that, tons of cables, electrodes. I mean, the electricity is going on a certain point, and it's very bulky. And for me, it was like it's again the sport philosophy. I don't want to tell people like with those kind of magic machines that, oh, sit on the sofa, eat your chips, and you will have the six pack. Like these studios were promising that, yeah, come to us two times 20 minutes, and then you are in perfect shape. You don't have to go to the gym anymore. It somehow, as a true believer of EMS and frequency on every level, not only in fitness but in healing, I was like, it doesn't resonate with me. I was a gymnast. My husband was a bodybuilder. We don't want to say to people that don't train anymore. It sounds no, it's not our way. So we were thinking that okay, but let's find a product which is totally flexible, wireless, you can implement in your training routine. It just to keep that really beneficial what you need, what EMS can give. But nobody had this product, so we had no other chance just to develop it. It sounds easy, but of course, trust me, it was a long journey. So we started with the idea 12 years ago, and the first baby, Vision Body, was born 10 years ago.
Amazing. I actually, and how we connected was I saw you at the A4M convention, which is latest technology, biggest results. And I saw exactly how it was working. I hadn't tried anything at that point to that level, and it was fascinating. I did try a suit for a while. It wasn't Vision Body, and I understood the concept of what you're doing, but I know you take it to a whole other level. I will say that my glute muscles hadn't felt so sore in a long time. This is not working out. This is just wearing the suit. The results in the abdominal muscles, the tightening, my biceps got sore, and again on different programs. Explain how that works because I was just sitting on the sofa watching TV, wearing these, EMS pants. I was sore for like 3 days, my muscles in a good way. It felt like I'd had a great workout. How does that work?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, it was not only about bulky jacket and big machine, but what we wanted, yeah, a whole body suit when you have electrodes on your main muscle groups. And most importantly, you have a small device, so you're completely free. You can do whatever you want, your favorite workout, or you even can sit on the sofa, but we don't promote it. And so, and then you are complete flexible. But the real key factor, and nobody has this solution, what we do. And how we do. It sounds like, okay, an EMS device like all the others. But what we do, we use low and middle frequency. So we not only stimulate the surface, but also go deep and activate the muscles. So, and it is a huge difference because if you use a classical EMS device with low frequency, first of all, most of them has a certain point when the electricity hits your muscle, and then of course it's super intense because it's happening in a small, tiny local area, and but it's just stimulation. So when you get the impulse, then your muscle has a reaction on it. And what we do, of course, we also use low frequency, but we combine middle frequencies. So we can go deeper and really activate through our big electrode pads the whole muscle group, the whole area. So in this suit, 98% of your muscles are working at the same time. Of course, meanwhile, you activate not only the muscles, but also your cells. So your hair is growing faster. It has an anti-aging effect. So it's much more than simple EMS. So those machines with the 85 hertz strength program, it's like you always get the same stimulation. So your muscle gets the same frequency. After a while, you get used to it. What we do, we kind of simulate all kind of different type of muscle activity with these kind of frequency cocktails, low and middle frequency. So even if you are in a sitting position, we can simulate a kind of strength or endurance or fat burning type of training, or deep tissue massage, anti-cellulite. And this makes us really unique and special. And this kind of medical electricity is the real secret to give people a long-term solution, not only on fitness level, but also on health level.
Mhm. Yeah, and with full disclosure, I will tell you that I'm no longer using that other suit. I want people to know that because there was some uh, not negative effects. I know, Christy, you've been ripped off. We know I'm a big believer in hydrogen water. I see the hydrogen water out of there being replicated by companies that haven't done the research and they're just throwing something together. And that's why I wanted to have you on here because you are a founder, you're an originator, you've done all the safety testing, and I've seen your suit at work in these productions. So I just want to have a full disclosure there that the suit I tried because I wanted to see it, I no longer use. But I'm a big believer in EMS because of the effect that it did have on me. Now, explain to me here, how does how do you know what frequencies to use? How did you study that? How do we know the effect of low frequencies, medium frequencies? And then what is high frequency and why don't you use that?
Okay, yeah. So surely it's not only me and my husband who working on this product. We have doctors, rehab specialists, really engineers with high knowledge behind the product. So we didn't invent the frequencies. Frequencies, this is, as I mentioned, how body is working. So there are studies which frequency, how can help to achieve different goals, whether if it's talking about fitness or recovery health aspect. So frequency can be used on a different several levels. Why we wanted to really dive deep and find the right solution, because when I first time tried an EMS device, that big bulky version, because I was really interested in this on this whole body level. I already used TENS machine to recover. I used different type of frequency devices, for example, bioresonance machine from Russia 30 years ago, just to figure out why do I have some health issues. So I knew that frequency can be helpful, but also can be harmful. So when I first tried this first product, I was a little bit, how to say, disappointed. I expected something more sophisticated. And yeah, I agree with you. I felt sore. So I really felt that wow, something happened what normally you can't do without this device on a normal level in a gym with normal activity. But I got really sick. I had fever. It wasn't a healthy sore. I had such a pain, inflammation in my body. And I was like, this is something is not okay. This, don't tell me it's healthy. So I was lucky enough that I met someone, a friend of mine, father was teaching on the sport university, and he's a muscle expert, and he was teaching worldwide trainers from the army, police. So he had really high knowledge on muscle. And I went to him and I was asking what is happening. And he was like, yeah, Christina, you got injured. It's not a healthy muscle sore. You got injured, they destroyed your muscle fibers. And of course, now you have fever. It's normal, but shouldn't be normal because these devices shouldn't uh, hurt people. And I was like, yeah, but this is what they use in rehab and medical field. Then what is happening? And he was like, yes, it's perfect for rehab. I don't say no. That's true. Yes, I saw Usain Bolt promoting one of them, but he's using it for rehab, not for sport performance. So just because you have a whole body suit and you turn it on like hell, it doesn't mean that it can really give you the benefit, what you want. So it's just an overdosed electricity, which can, yeah, cause pain and muscle injury. I was like, okay, then we have to a little bit dive deeper with to understand this the power of electricity. So I started to meet doctors and specialists on this area, and what we learned that if you really want to train muscle on whole body level with this technology, then you need low and middle frequency, and you have to combine in different level. So you have to really understand the effect of different frequencies and different frequency levels. And it's like, when you create a cocktail, it has to have you have to follow the recipe, otherwise it won't taste like you want. So based on studies and with the help of this specialist, we put together the right frequencies. And of course, it sounds easy, but on real technical side, we needed an engineer who put all this knowledge in a tiny box, in such a small box, which is smaller than an iPhone, instead of a huge machine. So this was a real challenge, but we managed to do it. And as I mentioned, right now, I can say proudly that we are the only FDA-approved 12-channel wireless dry suit solution on the market with low and middle frequency. We can help not only fit people, but as I mentioned, of course, on rehab level in really a lot of different cases. So we are very proud of the product. It wasn't an easy journey. I believe that what you mentioned, that other product, yeah, it's not only about the frequency. If you don't overdose the low frequency, you can't hurt people. The reason why people can be hurt from an EMS, whole body EMS suit, for example, because if it's a cheap copy version, like low quality silver textile in the electrode patches, or low quality cable that transporting the electricity, then you can really burn people. Because what we use, for example, the silver textile in the electrodes, they are really high quality, rich in liquid silver type of textile, because that's the most important part of the suit that delivers the electricity. And if it's a low quality, uh, which has only a little silver in it, then of course it can hurt. And that's why it hurt me to see, not only because we are still not on the level like Apple, that we are strong enough, and if somebody coming out with a copy version, we can say, oh, we did something special, and now again a new copy try. But they can destroy. First of all, they hurt people. Second, they destroy the reputation of EMS, which is proved for thousands of years that it can help. But the reason why you hurt someone, if you don't create the right quality, if you don't use the right quality, it just looks similar. Like, for example, our product, I know, I saw them, but they just using low frequency, low quality textile electrodes, cables, and then of course it won't bring the result, plus can hurt people.
Yeah, the science behind it is what really intrigues me, because having experienced some effects, and again, like you said, you can hurt people with the wrong. Unfortunately, there's sometimes guinea pigs. I was a guinea pig that goes in and says, "Okay, I'll try this," and then find out it doesn't work. Before I could support anything, it's something that I have to know for myself has an impact. Well, having spoken to many people that are using your suit, having looked at the technology you're providing, having looked at the quality that you provide, it's kind of like having a Mercedes compared to a Fiat. No disrespect to Fiats, but you've put that time and excellence in there. What are some of the effects that you're seeing in people? So we know from muscle stimulation point of view, I felt it myself working out. But tell me more about the health benefits if someone has, a friend of mine has POTS and unable to work out but could use the suit. Does it work with neurological challenges, weight loss? Does it help with people overcoming a sickness or a restriction of physical movement?
Yeah, so back again to the frequencies. If you use a low frequency machine, of course, it's working on a certain level. I don't say no, because this is how, for example, TENS machines are working, and perfect for pain release and stimulate the surface and fix a certain area if you have an injury. But for whole body level, if you want really not only just a local recovery, but real effect on your muscles, then you need the low and middle frequency. Why we are successful and what we can do, it's all about muscle. So this is how you function. It's not only, this, and it's not only about to have the summer body and look good and toned, but this is how we function. This is how we eat, breathe, talk. Without muscles, as we aging, we losing muscle mass, and we losing, gravity working. We need support like a walker to walk, and it's all because we're losing muscle. So what we can do with low frequency, you can stimulate and of course reach a certain level, but just because you always get the same frequency and that's small range, after 2-3 months you get used to it. It's first of all, it's science, plus I hear it from clients daily. I mean, from those who use something earlier. So it's like they always get the same frequency, so they get used to it. And after a couple of months, there is no progress. If you use our technology, then of course, we can go really deep and help, for example, not only with muscle, but also bone density. And here we start to talk because every person has different kind of health issues by aging. So osteoporosis, losing muscle, breaking easier. It's sadly happening over 50, dramatically going everything down. But if you use this technology, then you can maintain the muscle even in a sitting or laying position. Because, for example, just to explain the power of this frequency, a friend of mine got ALS, and he we tried to convince him to use our suit when he was still able to move, but he was scared. Doctor said, "Oh, don't mess up with the neurological system. We don't know what will happen." So he was like, "Okay, I try other ways." So long story short, he ended up in hospital, was just laying there, lost all the functions. He was on breathing machine, feeding tubes, IV pipes all around. So he was just really existing. Only the eyes were moving. And finally, the doctors were like, "Okay, it's not a life anymore. Please bring your kids, say goodbye to daddy. It's better to switch off the machine." So this was really the last stage when his wife called me. I was like, "Christina, can you send me a system?" Now I'm in this stage, I'm like, I'm willing to try it, give a try to your technology. I sign all the documents that I do it for my own risk. And sadly, it happened during COVID. So even the rehab specialist couldn't visit him anymore. So they got a room. I was like, oh my gosh, it's nice. Of course, you don't say no to a friend, even to an enemy if somebody is in dying. But how we put him in this tight diving suit type of outfit, you can't handle the cables and all these machines. So we developed a special version for him where we could zip him in. We had zippers on the shoulder, all around, so we could wrap him in this special suit and work on through 20 electrodes on whole body level. And you believe or not, in 3 months, he was able to sit up and breathe again, eat again, talk again. So, oh my, I still have goosebumps when I'm talking about it. So, this proved that even if someone who is not just laying in our suit and not able to cooperate with us, not able to do any exercises, we have the power to build back the muscles on a level that he starts to function again. So in 3 months, he was at home, able to sit up, drink again, eat again, speak again. And it was 5 years ago. So, and he's still at home. Of course, we can't heal ALS, but we build back the muscles on a level that he started to function again. And this is the key. If it's not only a surface stimulation, but you can go deeper and activate the muscles, even if the person is not able to follow your instruction and do exercises, then the real magic happens. And this is the power what you have if you use the frequencies on the right way. And yeah, he's just one example. We have several clients in wheelchair. They heard from doctors that no chance, you will never walk again. And then a month or 2 months later, they were able to stand up just because we're using our technology. And of course, magic doesn't happen from one day to the other, and it's a lot of work. So, for example, by my friend, of course, it's not like 2 times 20 minutes full body training. He got the electricity, the stimulation, like every hour, every 2 hours, like 5 minutes, because we had to be gentle and not to burn his energy. But um, what we do with these people, not only activating and giving the ability to develop muscle, but meanwhile, we also building back the communication between the brain and the body. So that's why we can help those people who are in wheelchair and paralyzed, let's say, from neck to down, to move again, because it's just one thing to build back the muscle. Nice, but they're still sitting there. But once you can, your cells are, I know it's getting very trendy now through this biohacking movement, and I'm really grateful that it's happening, that your cells can renew. And if you do the right things and help with red light and frequencies, you really can age backwards. And this is nice. And we all want to live forever, like look 30, 40. But the most important, this aspect, when you are limited in mobility and you have some health issues, then you realize that you really have to activate your cells again, renew them. And if you can build back this communication, broken communication, whether it was a car accident or boat accident or ALS. But if you are able to fix this communication and maintain the muscles, then you can make really magic, not only the summer body.
No, it's fascinating. And I got some friends that have ALS, and the journey is tough. It's one of the hardest things to push back against. And the fact, like you said, you were able to stimulate muscle growth, but it's not growth for the sake of growth, it's strength within the growth. It's amazing what you can do. So, from what I remember, if someone had your suit, they control it through an app. Is that correct?
Yes. So in the home edition, for example, you have your own suit with these built-in electrodes. You have this small control box, what you put on the side of the suit, and then you have your own app, and then you choose the right programs. Of course, for home users, we made it very simple. We have preset programs, so they don't have to figure out what frequencies to use, because that's the science. So we had pre-saved programs like strength, endurance, fat burning, deep tissue massage, wellness, anti-cellulite. So everything what you need in your household to stay fit and recover. And you can choose certain parameters, like how many minutes you want to train, how long you want to set the stimulation, and how long the pause. Normally, we have a basic setting for those who use it for recovery, because then we use shorter periods, like 4 second stimulation for pause. But once you start to do training, then my favorite is the 20-10. So I have 20 seconds to really repeat the exercise, and then I relax for 10 seconds. So I always say, if you are able to move, then be grateful and move. Be happy that you're not sitting in a wheelchair. So then don't sit on the sofa, put the suit on, and yeah, just go for a power walk or jogging, or just do some easy, simple exercises at home or in your garden. You're completely free. You can do it whatever you want. And of course, you can go also to the gym, because we don't say don't do the classical gym exercise. We just say train smarter, and in 20 minutes, just because we have this whole body stimulation, so we don't do leg day, upper body day. So in the 20 minutes, all your muscles working at the same time, of course, on a different level. So you set the intensity, how much you want on your biceps, triceps, shoulder, chest. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different tolerance. And then in this 20 minutes, we just reduce the time, increase the efficiency, and most importantly, we prevent the joints. Because the older we are, we know that more difficult to lift heavy weights. So it's but even for younger athletes, it's proved that if they implement this technology in their daily training routine, they can prevent their joints and they maintain the flexibility, and meanwhile they build strength and endurance. They don't get bulky and fixed from the heavy and injured from the heavy weightlifting.
So you talk about the ability to do muscle strength, recovery, fat loss, um, in cardio stimulation. Is that
Yeah.
relative to the frequency? So when you change the frequency, it has a different reaction on the body because we know that muscle and fat are two separate entities. And if you're stimulating the muscle, and we know muscle will help burn fat, but how does it work with fat burn and weight loss?
Yeah, we have amazing results, and it's really nice to see that even those who tried everything already on the market, injectables and fancy machines, local freezing or even sculpting devices. My favorite success story is 60 years old doctor. She tried everything. She told me that, Christina, I paid just to get rid of my bat wing $3,000, but it's still hanging. Okay, the fat is maybe away, but and so she tried everything. And as I always mention, over 50, it's of course getting more difficult to be in shape and get lose weight. So she found a studio with Vision Body and started to train there. And then, but it was really far, so she was driving like hours per day just to be there and train. But she saw such a change in a short time that finally she bought her own home system because she was strong and confident enough to continue this journey. And you believe or not, she was a quite wide, big, strong woman with a size of XL. And when I saw the first pictures after 6 months, I was like, wow, even for me who knows this technology and saw a lot, it was really amazing to see that it was not only about going down from XL to M size, which is a big, huge change, but she became completely athletic and toned. And now she's using our technology for a year, and now she's using a suit S. Wherever she goes, everybody on conferences, hospital, everybody is asking that, what are you doing? And because, if you use this fancy injectables and so on, yes, of course you lose muscle, I mean, lose fat, but you also lose muscle and your skin is still hanging. So you need a solution to to build muscle and tighten your skin. But if you use this technology, you don't need anything else because meanwhile you as you building muscle with this activity, as you said, you're burning fat, and as I always say, as a side effect, that you fix lower back pain and a lot of issues, like for example, incontinence, because it's also all about muscles. It's not about aging. Once you give birth on a natural way, of course, it's an issue even by 25. But once you build muscles and maintain your muscle on a whole body level, then also these forever issues suddenly solved. And and yeah, it's you don't need more than 2, 3 times a week, the 20 minutes, and you really see that you know, if somebody is losing a lot of weight, like really 150 pounds, they immediately say, oh yeah, but then you need surgery to get rid of the extra skin because of course that will be empty and just hanging. It's not true. In 1 year you can completely tighten the skin also in a way that you nobody believes that you were 300 pounds a year ago. So for me, she's a Wonder Woman, a superhero, because she proved the concept that if you consistent and using this technology and not more than 2, 3 times 20 minutes, then you get the right result. It's first of all, she feels much better, of course. To get rid of 150 pounds, it's always feels good. What I really like that you see she's shining and she has the confidence. And before, she was always wearing big black covering clothes just to cover that extra weight. Now she's wearing really sexy mini dress, pink tiny short, and a complete new person. So we gave back her life and shine, not only the body. And that's also a nice nice feeling.
Yeah, I mean, changing people's lives is what we're really, and yeah, it's just what we do, and seeing that results because it's not just a physical change for me, it's even more the emotional change. You wake up happy, you wake up excited. It's not something you have to stress over. It's helping you do the work by doing a lot of the work for you, provided you're investing into it. And again, I hugely agree. Just losing fat without building muscle is a potential disaster because we look at the whole thing with Ozempic, GLP-1, the changes that are going on, how up to 80% of the weight loss is actually muscle, not fat. So your whole BMI is changing, your fat percentage is going up, but we think because we're losing weight, it's better. So it's brilliant. And again, I love what you're doing. What would you say if someone said, okay, I started off as an XL, I'm now down to a small. Do they have to keep buying suits, different size suits to fit because it's not as tight on the muscles for the stimulation of electrical flow?
Yeah, good question. Definitely there is a certain size difference when you need a new suit, but normally we have different cuts, female, male, from XXS up to 3XL, and we have our own textile factory, so we can produce even special shapes. Now we are working on a special um, edition for the Brazilian butt type of trendy ladies, and uh, but it's very flexible, so you can cover like a quite good weight loss. If especially we have a very simple $30 add-on like a belt what you can wear, because people mostly when they start to lose fat, especially if somebody has a bigger reserve, then it starts around the belly. So in that area, as I said, first for the suit is very flexible, but with an additional belt, you can handle that area so you still have the right connection. And meanwhile, on the arms, yes, you lose fat, but meanwhile you build muscle, so of course you will fill up that area, so you can handle quite good range. But of course, when you go down from XL to M, especially S, of course you need a new suit, but you don't have to buy the whole system. You just buy an additional suit, which is like a $450, like a yoga set outfit, and then you have the right size again. And to be honest, this is a nice problem when somebody asking me, "Oh, okay, and then what if I need a S suit instead of the XL?" And I said, "Yeah, first of all, let's open a champagne and let's celebrate." and and yeah, for example, with this doctor, she ordered a second suit, and when I saw that, oh, she's by S, of course we sent her a present, a new suit as a present, because it was like for us also such a nice story, and she was posting it on Facebook. So she brought a lot of clients. So we were very grateful, and we were like, okay, here is your special edition. Thank you for trusting us and believing in us. Um, So you can fix the size difference easily. And the other thing is that of course, after a certain time, so or so you have to change your suit, because it's like jogging shoes that if you overuse it, or any kind of sport product, if you overuse it, for example, by the jogging shoes, it can hurt the knee. So when it losing the flexibility, then you need a new one. So also by us, if you overwash it after a while, I use mine for more than 2 years without any problem. After a while, if you wash it regularly, of course, this high quality silver, liquid silver, what we have in the textile, you wash it out step by step. And then, of course, it's losing the connectivity, but it's really like maybe you could do 50% on your glutes, and now you need 60 because you need higher uh, intensity to give the same intensity results. But it's a normal, like you buy new tires for your car in
Sure.
every couple of years.
Yeah, it's fascinating because I think that, like you said, if someone's coming, we invest in results, right? If someone could guarantee that you have this success, we have no problems paying the money if it means enough for us. And like you said, if someone's gone from an XL and now they're down to a small, and they go, I can continue this program, it's priceless. There is no value to it because the results emotionally, physically, health wise, relationship wise, so many things are affected by how we feel about ourselves. So it's invaluable. Can you, with your suits, for example, train just the biceps? Could you turn off other parts of the body? Or is it a whole body? And if it is the whole body, how do you then increase certain areas? So I'll say, I want to lose fat on my waist, but I want to build my arms. Do you have to do separate programs? And can you adjust the different body parts? How does that work?
Yeah, so you can train only the biceps or to focus on the glutes, but I always say use the benefit that it's a whole body suit, so you have all the electrodes. I understand that if you prefer to focus on the legs, or more for the lower body part, or more for the biceps triceps, you can do it, but I always say switch it on everywhere a little bit, just to let let the health benefit circulate in your body and do the work. Of course, if you're working more on the arms, then you put more intensity there, and then you do arm exercises. But let it run all around, because it's not only about training, but meanwhile, you speed up your circulation. So you really help to improve your circulation. You speed up the detox in the body. So additionally, why not?
Mm,
I would say, makes no sense to focus on only one area or two areas. And especially if you want to burn fat, it's not a local thing.
mm.
If you do a real intense, very good strength training, trust me, as a side effect, you will burn like 700 calories uh, in that 20 minutes training.
Crazy. What?
But of course, just don't forget your word. But by rehab, of course, we work on a different way, because if it's about rehabilitation, and let's say we help someone to start to walk again, then of course we focus on locally on that area where they need the help. So by the beginning, let's say somebody had a knee surgery, or just an injury, and we want to fix that, then of course we're focusing on the hams, quads, inner thigh and calf electrodes, and try to help with circulation, inflammation, and build back the muscles on that area. And step by step, when it's not about rehab anymore, then we can do a whole body real training. But this is the beauty in our system, and that's why we right now we came out with a new product which was inspired my friend with ALS, because yes, we have the nice, fancy, easy to wear, I mean, look good type of tight dry suit for fit people, but we made this special wraparound version for him and for those people who limited in mobility and can't jump in just so easy in a surf suit. And but based on the experience with him, it was just a quick fix because we had our own suit factory, so we could create a special edition. But of course, it wasn't ideal for him to lay in this jacket the whole day. You know, it's not only on the upper body, but the electrodes on the glutes. So we wrap the electrodes around the leg. So it's a whole like a sleeping bag. So it wasn't ideal to wear it the whole day. So inspired by him, we came out a special edition where you don't have to wear anything. We have a so-called mat pad, so you can attach the control box to a small adapter, and with the 12 channel, you can connect 24 electrodes. You know, the typical sticky electrodes, what you use by a TENS machine or by beauty treatments, but also we have wearable textiles like socks, gloves, bands for like tennis elbow or after knee injury surgery, bands for the knee. So these are easy to wear solution for local treatment. So with this range now, with these kind of wearables, we really can say that we can help someone to come back even from coma or really hopeless bedridden situation with the help of this easy to put on solution through the rehab journey, when they able to do some movements with this special wet jacket, to the stage that they can jump in the tight suit and do already normal training like nothing happened. So we have a whole walk you home from hospital to your home or to back to your gym solution.
Brilliant. And that goes calf muscles, quads, all the way up to your trapezius, all the way up to the neck. Is that the different areas you can stimulate? Because I've seen some options out there that don't really touch on the legs very much. They tend to be more upper body, and they certainly don't touch the calves. Like, for me, calves are important. Yours do that as well?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we are the only FDA approved 12 channel suit who has all these electrodes that calves, inner tight. You know, the adductor is very important, especially by female, but I believe that by prosthetic issues and by incontinence, we both female male need those electrodes additionally. We have the hams and quads, glutes, lower back, shoulder, biceps, triceps, the chest, and the abs. So altogether 12 channel, 24 electrodes.
So I know it's not easy to get FDA registered, right? But is this something now that you're registered that people could use their insurance for? What is it, FSH? Different type of things. Can they use this if they have a physician suggest it or write a what is it, prescription for it?
Yeah, so they can use TrueMed, FSH, and I'm not good with this regulation, I mean, solutions, but we have several options on the website what is working. And I know that um, um, in some cases, they just needed a small modification, like in our invoice, we have to mention that it's EMS TENS because some of the insurance companies know the TENS machine, but not the EMS. But yeah, so as far as I know, every client who claimed these kind of financial hub solution, they could use it.
That's really dynamic because we always know that it costs so much to invest into your health, and yet health is the most important thing for us. There's a saying I love: we spend 75% of our life earning as much money as we can at the expense of our health, and then we spend the last 25% of our life spending all the money to try and regain our health that we gave up. Now,
Yeah, it's really sad, especially, here in Florida. I see so many people. You see that they're driving beautiful cars and they surely retired and safe and wealth, but they all walking around, with a walker. And you see that the most popular place where the wallet parking is working the best is the hospital. And it's beautiful location and very well organized, but it's so sad to see that they could drive to the country club or golf club instead of the hospital cafeteria. But yeah, since we are here, and I see how expensive health insurance can be, I'm like, oh my gosh, if you buy this device once in your lifetime, then you have your whole gym and rehab center at home. You can you almost don't need insurance anymore, because if you maintain a healthy lifestyle, you know, it's not only about the muscles, but meanwhile, as I said, we have tons of health benefits like really detox, um, pain therapy, and circulation. I see, for example, our neighbor, 80 years old. He was a priest, a beautiful family, but he was not able to walk anymore because he had a heart attack, stroke, serious diabetes, legs were black already. And one day we started to talk because it was really beautiful to see that a tiny, small wife supporting this still big man to do some steps on the street. And we started to talk and we asked what happened. And I said, yeah, it's age plus a lot of health issues. We put the Zogs and these electrodes on the leg. He was even not able to wear our suit. So just sitting on the chair, and with the stimulation, we helped to restore the circulation on a level that after 4 weeks, he was walking our dog, and the legs were not black anymore. They went back kind of normal reddish, what is happening by people with diabetes because of the poor circulation. So it was really nice to see that with a kind of classified as a fitness product, if you use it in these kind of health issues, how you can help and how fast you can help.
so theoretically, if I'm right, this should help with neuropathy because we get an electrical pulse going through, and there's people that are struggling with pain of neuropathy, but you can get this stimulation without having to go through that specific pain.
Yes. With frequencies, you I don't know if there are any issue that you can't fix. So I mean neurological issues and health issues, which like for example, people don't die from cancer or ALS.
Mm,
They die because they lose the muscles, and then
absolutely.
they're not able to fight anymore. They get pneumonia, they fall, they break the hip, and so it's just a snowball effect. So yes, definitely you can help with most of the neurological issues. Of course, every issue is different. So right now we are in the progress that we trying to partner up with more and more doctors who are specialized on certain areas. We have an amazing specialist from Europe, studying in the US, but went back to Europe and helping people with spinal cord injury, ALS, MS type of issues. And she's working on some studies because we met when she was the rehab specialist by my friend, but couldn't go and visit her during COVID time in the hospital. And then she saw what we did in 3 months without the help of her or anybody else. And she was like, wow, I need your product. I want to work with this because I believe that I can fix almost all of my clients. And now she's coming out with some studies, and I would really love to see more specialists who believes in this technology and has some knowledge on frequencies to join to us, because yeah, they could help millions, billions of people, not only to get the summer body, but
And that's
to
what's hard. Look, I know with my own balance training system that you've experienced and seen, I'd have doctors that would say, no, don't get on it. It's a gimmick. It won't work. But I've got tens of thousands of success stories of people. And I had, patients of doctors that were told don't use it, that then went and used it. And they'll go back a month later and the doctor goes, oh my gosh, look how great you're doing. What have you been doing? And they say it. And it's the patients now educating the doctors, because if the doctor doesn't know it, they don't believe it works. And that's the situation you're in now. You've got so much proof of success, but now you're slowly adding the doctors that are educating other doctors. The bottom line is we have to be responsible for our own health. And it's better to try it and find out you're right than to avoid it and waste your life. Is there anybody that shouldn't be using it? Are there any conditions that you turn around and say, no, we shouldn't be using your EMS training?
yeah, so generally it's not about vision body, but generally if you work with frequency, um, uh, people with pacemaker, of course, we say no. The new models, they are, we have so many technology around us that they say that they are complete bulletproof, so they don't have any issue with other frequency machines. But of course, how do you know which model the person has? So and in this case, we say no. Of course, also, if someone pregnant, we always say don't use it during the pregnancy. First of all, it's a very, very intense training, so don't waste your energy on this. Focus on the baby. Second, of course, if they lose the baby, they blame it on the technology. But to be honest, an iPhone in the pocket harms the baby more than this. But of course, we say no. But after giving birth, this is the first sport what you can do, because you do it step by step. So building back your muscles, the broken areas. It was a natural way of giving birth, and meanwhile melt the fat what you collected during the 9 months. So of course, this is not only by pregnancy, but generally after every surgery, during recovery, doctors say this is the first sport what you can do, because it's very gentle and you can do it step by step. And epilepsy, because with epilepsy again, if yeah, this kind of electricity, of course, can trigger the
Or the electrical response within the brain
uh,
and that can
yeah,
trigger an epileptic
yeah,
seizure or fit.
yeah,
No, no, it's fascinating. It's great. You've spent this time with Henry building this incredible support system for natural health. And I want to emphasize that again. We're replicating the natural stimulation of electrical impulse within the body with an external support system. If there was one thing that you would love to have in, let's say, 60, 70, 80 years' time, that people turn around and said, Christina and Henry created this effect, what would you want people to be saying about you? What legacy would you love to leave?
Uh, I would like to see them to live that, first of all, add minimum 10 more years to their life, but quality life. So you see so many people living long, 80, 90, 100, but they just existing. So what we would really like to see, that we give life quality to people on a way they never thought that it's possible.
That's beautiful. I think, again, we know this is ageless, right? Everybody can benefit, even starting at the very low level. If you haven't worked out, if you're frail, if you are an athlete and you want to push your level, the last question I'd love to ask is how many times a week should you use it? Because I know it can be challenging. I know, and when I say challenging, I'm talking about the physical impact your body's working. Do you do 4 days a week? Do you do 6 days a week? Do you mix it where one day it's working out, then you have the next day you use it for recovery? Or like going to the gym, do you have to give your muscles rest days for them to grow?
Yeah, definitely you have to relax, because as I said, it's a whole body training, so all the muscle groups working at the same time. So it's not like one day is leg day, next day you're focusing on the upper body, so your leg is relaxing, everything happening at the same time. So the ideal is what I say, 2 times a week, like strength training, a real intense training. And additionally, you can do a third, like cardio type. Of course, you can jog or walk your dogs in the suit, or do a hiking where you just boost your cardio activity, but not more. Of course, this is the training aspect. If additionally, we always suggest that after a hard 20 minutes strength training, keep the suit on and switch on the deep tissue massage or the wellness program or the anti-cellulite for ladies, just to still keep the fat burning on a higher level, help the body to detox and get rid of the lactic acid. So the ideal is if after 20 minutes training, you do another 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, but it's a kind of treatment. So it's whether massage, wellness, or anti-cellulite. You can do it already in a laying position, laying on a sofa or on a yoga mat. You do some stretching, and you just let it run on a nice, comfortable way that you feel that it's moving like somebody's doing really a massage on you, but nothing hectic, so you don't have to move or work against it. And then it's perfect. And if we talk about rehab, it's a different story, because less is more, as I mentioned by my friend, that we don't do training there, we do treatment. So
Mm.
if it's about rehab, then sometimes in certain issues, it's better if you use it 2, 3 times a day. Like our daughter, she was competing as a gymnast in rhythmic gymnastic in Spain. Now she's doing competitive dance, and something always hurts, knee and sprinkled ankle, something always happening. So she's using then the Zogs and the bands or the sticky electrodes, just sitting in front of the computer studying, but using it like 2, 3 times a day for 5, 10 minutes as a recovery to help to rehab the certain injured area.
Yeah.
And back to age, this is very important that you mentioned that, yeah. We always say the older you are, the more you need this technology, because it's not only the time factor, but really we increase the intensity, and meanwhile we prevent the joints. So it's super important for everyone, but especially as we aging, to prevent the joints, and meanwhile to build muscles or maintain the muscles on a healthy way. Of course, it's it's crucial. We have clients like 98 years old using it. Of course, using on a different level than a fit person, but has the results and fit and healthy.
And that's the beautiful thing. It is customizable to each person, their need. It's not one size fits all. It will fit any size, basically. Really impressed, not just with the results, but with the attention to detail that's gone in. And because I've specialized with, aging and seniors and neurological disease, I totally understand as we age, we often have more time, but less ability. So we've got the time to invest, we just don't have the energy or the physical strength to do what we worked our whole lives to be free to do. So I really urge people to look into your technology, look into Vision Body. I'm going to drop the links to your website next to the podcast and also on within the podcast as well, so people can go out there. Is there one last piece of advice you'd like to give people that are now fascinated?
Yeah, I, maybe it sounds like very commercial, but really, what I can say, it's not a question if we need this technology or not, not because we produce it or sell it, but just because this is how we function. So I would say, more or less, it's not a question if if you need the technology, but you have to be careful, yeah, what you pick, because quality is very important. It's like you can get injectables and vitamins, but if not the right one, of course, can hurt. But yes, I just can repeat it that we I what my dream is, and it's not from financial side, but it's really for us a passion to see people how they change in a short time after using the technology. So my big dream is that one day it won't be something new, something luxury. It will be the part of your house pharmacy as a everyday rehab and fitness tool to live longer and healthier and yeah, add that 10, 20 quality life to
Yeah,
your existence.
invaluable. I look forward to giving my own testimonial. I'm going to get a suit. I'm going to be trying it. I'm going to let people understand my experience going through it as well. And I'm very excited because I understand if you want to live longer, if you want to maximize your potential, you've got to invest into yourself. Self love is not selfish, it's essential. So take care of you and you can take more care of more people. Christina, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. Thank you for the a massive amount of time you put into Vision Body. You're changing lives and helping people live better, longer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.